राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना, यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना, यमुनतीरा वनचारी, यमुनतीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना, यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना, यमुनतीरा वनचारी, यमुनतीरा वनचारी, राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना, यमुनतीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे, जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम, जय जगन्नाथ जय बलादेवा जय सुभद्रा, जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता, जय जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद, निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल, जय प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद, जय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल, जो विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राज का चरष्टोत्र सतश्री श्रीमद जैसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रभुराज का अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद त्रिवेणी शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, आनंद कोटि वैष्णव की जय, नमाचार्य हरदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगमय यमुनामय की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ताय गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all for joining. We will be discussing Damodar Lila, being Damodar month, first class in Damodar month. So that we'll discuss glories of Damodar month, especially the glories of Damodar Ashtakam, and nice instructions have been given as well. Many instructions are there from Damodar pastime, so many instructions from so many acharyas. So we'll try to understand. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Hari Om Tat ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं देवतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। गोस्वामी गोपाद की जय, गोपाद की जय। So we'll be discussing Damodar Leela, and this is part one. So we'll be going through the Damodar Ashtakam and its glories. So many details are being given. So let's look at it on the verses. We'll sing at the end Damodar Ashtakam, but for now we'll just go through the details of the this. So I'll just sing in brief, and then we'll go through the glories of this. What this is written by Satyavrata Muni, great devotee of the Lord, glorifying Radha Damodar as per Yashoda Damodar. There is also a small pastime we'll cover some other day, where Lord Krishna was bound by Srimati Radharani. So that's why we also Radha Damodar deity is there in Gitanagiri and many other places. We have in Vrindavan itself the original deity Radha Damodar deity also, where Sri Prabhupada stayed in the temple. So that pastime is also there. But main pastime from 10th canto, chapter number 9, whole chapter is Yashoda Mai binding Lord Krishna, signifying and greater importance is being given for that pastime. So the first verse of Damodar Ashtakam, Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yesodabiyolokaladhavamanam Paramrishtam Atyantato Drutya Gopya. So here, let's look at the translation also. I should have printed that. to the Supreme Lord, whose form is embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge and bliss, whose sharp-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who I, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with the greatest speed, to that Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. So that is the translation of that verse, uh, where so they through this verse, the whole throughout this Sri Damodar Ashtakam, where Satyavrata Muni is glorifying various qualities of the Supreme Lord. First one is the Tattva Visesh. We want to attain, first of all, this, let's understand the main key instruction from this Damodar Lila is as the Lord Krishna is bound with ropes by Yasodamai. So it signifies Lord is teaching a lesson for all of us. As living entities are conditioned, are bound by the ropes of three modes of material nature, mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, through this pastime of Damodar Lila, Dama Bandhana Lila, Dama means rope, Bandhana, Udara means belly, where Lord Balagopal, Lord is around 3 years, less than 5 years when this pastime happened on the Pavali day. Yashodamai bound, so in the belly of the Lord. So that rope is considered as three gunas, three so goodness, passion, ignorance. As the Lord is bound, same way living entities are being bound. So if you want to be delivered, if you want to be delivered from this conditioning, then we must follow the footsteps of Yasodami. So when then that means how will you find Krishna through this pastime? Another instruction is teaching is by through the footsteps of Yasodamai. Where how did Yasodamai found Krishna? When Krishna woke up and came to Yasodama Rani, then she was churning the butter. When she was churning the butter, Lord Krishna woke up and came and caught hold of Yasodamai and stopped her from churning. Then she immediately stopped that. Then she took him and then started breastfeeding. Then she put him down, and then went to check the milk on the stove. So that's all. There's a big pastime there. But when she came back and saw that everything was a mess, pot was broken. So that's another instruction where Lord is teaching. Lord is showing all the contradictions. Showing even though Lord is the supreme personality of Godhead. Ete chams kalapams Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrar Vyakulam Lokam Rodayantu Yuge. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. All the incarnations are coming from him. But Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. So there is no superior than him. But here in this case, seems to be first of all, Lord is hungry. How can Parabrahma, Purna Purushottam Krishna can be hungry? God, from him everything is coming. How can he be hungry? Just like so, he is teaching through this lesson. Lord cannot be understood by our logic and argument. Lord can be only be understood. That's why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is using, generally Paribhas Sutra is the one I quoted, 1327, where Lord Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the Paribhas Sutra of whole Srimad Bhagavatam. But there is another Paribhas Sutra, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is quoting in the 10th canto in 8th chapter, verse number 45 or 47, where he is quoting that verse. Through the Shastra, through the sadhus, this Yashodamai's Lila is a whole 10th canto is teaching. First, one must accept Lord Krishna as a Purna Purushottam Bhagavan, like Yashodamai has accepted in pure devotion. No other tinge. No other tinge of Karma Mishra, Gnana Mishra, Yoga Mishra. No other tinge is there. Completely to just only to love Krishna, only to please Krishna. That's our only intention. So the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the 10th canto, is based on this aspect. More you go into Rasa Panchadhyay, more you go into Lord Krishna, especially Vrindavan Leelas. Dwaraka Leelas, more of, again, this Aishwarya Rasa is there, other rasas, but especially in Vrindavan Leela pastimes, with the gopis, with the cowherd boys, all those pastimes are very intimately more. They don't know that Lord Krishna is God. So, but here, Lord Krishna, that's everything is inconceivable. You cannot put logic and argument. You cannot understand through philosophy, especially the 10th cant. So, so that's it. But through Damodar Ashtakam, the Satyavrata Muni wants to teach us. First, he wants to teach us about the tattva. So that's why I was explaining. The first aspect is the tattva can be understood only through parampara. How is that possible? How did Yashodama, when Lord Krishna when Yashodama came back from that milk pot on the stove, she switched off and came back, then she saw everything is a mess. What Lord Krishna did, he broke the pot. He was hungry. Then not only that, he made an offense. He broke the pot. So then he stole the butter. He went onto the mortar. He ate the butter. First of all, he broke the pot of the yogurt what mother was churning. Then he went down with all the marks were there. Then he broke the pot and then he took some, he ate some, and then walked. And so many rooms. Yashodamai and Nanda and Yashoda's courtyard, or the whole palace is huge. So many rooms are there. So where he went to one room where the wooden grinding mortar is there. He went on the top where for Indra Puja everything was arranged. The yogurt, butter, and so many things are being prepared. Everything is kept on the top. So he went up and then he started eating and then he called all the monkeys. And then when Yasodama saw that the pot was broken, then she was trying to find Krishna. Then she saw the steps. So this is teaching us that if you want to find Krishna, you must follow the acharyas. You must follow the acharyas. As again and again, chapter after chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, this has been explained. In Bhagavad Gita, also Lord Krishna is explaining after explaining about himself, why he comes, how he appears, as is explained. Ajo bisan avyatma bhutanam iswaro bisan sambhavami atma maya. By his own sweet will is appearing. He is not being forced to appear in any of the forms. Lord Krishna is appearing by his own sweet will. So, and then he is performing the pastimes almost like the supreme, the human being, to attract us, to remove our shackles, to remove our ropes, to remove us from this prison house. Generally, when somebody is in a prison house, it's not easy. It's very difficult to get out of. He has to follow the rules and conditions, and then gradually he has to be reformed there. And then he can come out, not by own, but he needs the mercy. He needs the mercy of sadhus. Prasangam ajaram pasam Atmano Kavayo Vidu Saiva Sadhu Sukrutu Mokshadaram Apavratam. You will be liberated by only by the sadhu's mercy. The two steps is been mentioned by the steps, not two steps, the steps where Lord Krishna, Padachihna in Hindi. So when Yashodamai saw that through those steps, she could find otherwise so many rooms where she will go and search. So she could see the steps of Krishna. That means in the Acharya, following the parampara, following by the Guru's mercy, by previous Acharya's mercy, then you attain Krishna. First you pray to Krishna, then by Krishna's mercy you get Guru. By Guru's mercy you attain Krishna. By your own endeavors you cannot come out. You cannot remove your own shackles. You cannot understand your own conditioning. So you cannot come out of that conditioning when you are in prison house. When you are bound, somebody has to release you. So Lord Krishna is teaching that through this lesson, many instructions. So this is one of the lesson, also instruction here. So and the contradictions are already there. Just like human being is hungry, just like human being is stealing and cheating and so illusion. So Lord Krishna is also same in the after stealing the butter and is feeding the monkeys. Then angry. This is anger also, transcendental anger, but just like ordinary human being has anger. But this is not the material anger. But Lord is teaching. So we want to come from the material absorption to transcendental level. All this, the from all the way from hungry, transcendental hunger. Everything in Vrindavan has a transcendental consciousness. Even the fruit, the flowers, the trees, even the water, the river, the everything, the stone, everything in Vrindavan has full conscious. This has been explained by Jiva Goswami and Gopal Champu and others, Kavi Karnapur. This Damodar Lila is explained by so many acharyas. Different commentaries are there. We are specifically going through Sanatana Goswami, Digdarshini Tika, commentary by Sanatana Goswami. But there are different books by Gopal Champu, Ananda Vrindavan Champu, by Kavi Karnapur, and Jiva Goswami, Gopal Champu, where this Damodar Lila and Haribhakta Vilas, and there is the Harivansa Puran, Vishnu Puran, Padma Puran. So many of these Puran, these pastimes are covered different details, different levels of lessons and instructions, throwing different angles of vision from different acharyas, explaining this pastime. So in this way, so you see the two step, the steps of the Lord is showing the path of parampara as you walk in. So walk in their footstep, then you can attain, you can find Krishna. You can find Krishna. Without that, you cannot find. Yasodamai also has to go in that footsteps, and then if she saw Krishna, then he was feeding. Even the monkey said, no, monkey doesn't eat so much butter, but he's forcibly feeding the monkeys. And monkey said, no, no, we are too full, we can't eat. So we don't want it. But still, for you only, I stole. I broke the pot and I came and I stole all this, and for you only, and you don't want it. So he became, and then he saw Isodamai running with a stick. And then he was showing anger. So all the contradictions are there. So that's why the Lord cannot, especially the Supreme Lord, cannot be understood by our logic, argument. Even especially the 10th canto, especially cannot be understood by philosophy either. So gradually, yeah, we use a philosophy, but especially the 10th canto pastime requires very much love. So philosophy must be understood, tattva must be understood, but love must be there. Without love, you cannot understand. Philosophy just is not enough. You need love and affection. That is the main teaching from the Yasodamai binding Krishna is very much. Only her intention is to please Krishna. And the another instruction as we see that, so first let's go through this Damodar Ashtakam where Satyavrata Muni is explaining from the first verse to last verse. First verse is explaining from Tattva Visesh, then the Rupa Visesh, as I was talking about Tattva. One must understand Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayoja. First, this through this pastime is teaching the relationship between the living entity, Jiva, and the Supreme Lord. The relation, eternal transcendental relationship that is being established through this pastime also. And then how to act, just like Yasodama is acted throughout this, following the footsteps, and further instruction also different acharyas are giving. When Yasodama finally started running after Krishna, Krishna in fear started running. Then Yasodama is trying to, acharyas explain, it took a whole day. From morning it started, early morning. He was sleeping, Krishna was sleeping till evening, almost till sunset, this pastime happened. Those many hours you can understand. Through this pastime, where the instructions are that Yasodamai went and running and with a stick to catch hold of Krishna. So where? And then Yasodamai was completely exhausted. Then she started, she finally caught hold of Krishna, where Acharyas explain that while caught hold of, and then she is trying to bind Krishna, and then so where so that first of all exhaustion. So many she ran and ran. It took long time to find to catch hold of Krishna, and then on top of it, then she started binding with ropes. Whatever, this is 900,000 cause you can imagine so many ropes will be there. but she couldn't. The two finger shot every time she is trying to bind Krishna. Those two fingers are explained by Acharyas. First one is Bhakti Nishta, and the second one is Swanishta. Bhakti Nishta means devotee's endeavor. Devotee's endeavor. One must endeavor. Without endeavor, there cannot be mercy. Just mercy is not going to come without endeavor. So Yasodama is seeing the endeavor of the his pure devotee, and then finally Lord gave. So there again another explanation Acharyas give. There are various energies of the Lord is there. Parasya Shaktir Vivideva Sruyate Swabhavaki Jnana Bala Kriyasa. Lord has multifarious energies, especially we mentioned Swarupa Shakti is divided into so many categories as internal energy, marginal energy, external energy, as three broad categories. But from there, when Akrura's past time happened, I explained how it divided into so many various energies. There are total 16 energies. All these 16 energies are in play, even in Damodar Lila. It is explained, all the energies are in discussion who's going to win, how to, what will be the result. Then all the energies are against binding Krishna because how can the gopis are watching, all the friends are there, then so Krishna is being embarrassed. Gopis are saying, you cannot, destiny is not there to tie you, tie Krishna. That's why your ropes, nothing, you are bringing so many ropes, we are bringing ropes, but every time it is two finger short. Nobody is able to bind. So that means there is no destiny is that you cannot bind Krishna. Then they said no, because all the his friends are there, so that the Krishna is very much embarrassed. He doesn't want to be bound. That is the second thing. Then the in this way, then not only that, then gopis. So this is the first one is the instruction is the exhaustion. Whenever we engage in devotion service, there is a lot of exhaustion will be there. It's not easy because we are in this material absorption day in day out. To perform devotion service, to wake up in the morning and chant, or to come to temple, to read, to hear, to do service in the temple. It's not easy at all because 90% or 95% majority are not in the material absorption. They are not at the practicing this transcendental consciousness. So they are not trying to come to this consciousness. Then it becomes very difficult in the with those surroundings to practice. So that's why the exhaustion will be there. So Yasodamai also has to exhaust. Otherwise, she could find Krishna is showing through this pastime specifically, is teaching a lesson for all of the conditioned soul. Just like I am being bound, if you want to be also released, if you want to be released, then you need a Guru's mercy. You need to endeavor. You have to go through the exhaustion. Then you will go through the failure. Just like Yasodamai couldn't catch first of all after being running and running and running. Then finally she caught hold, but still she couldn't mind. She's failed after failure whole day. This one of the energies said finally, all right, enough is enough. Out of 16 energies, one of the energies Krupa Shakti. She said, so now I will not agree to this. I will allow Krishna to be bound. So then that's when the Swanishta is Lord Krishna's own internal energy in the form of Krupa Shakti said, all right, I will allow Yasodamai to bind me. Then suddenly Yasodamai was able to bind Krishna almost after many hours, after so much exhaustion, after so many failures. Through devotional service, that's what we'll see. It's great difficulties, and then we will have failures. So many tests will come through so many different types of problems in our life. It's not going to be easy, definitely for sure, because different levels of devotees at different timings, different tests will be given exactly to the degree we need, to the degree we can handle it. And Lord Krishna will also give the energy and strength and arrange the situation, arrange the different devotees to help through that situation. So then finally we'll be able to come and gain victory. Will be able to transform, come to that pure state of consciousness, as Yasodama is able to bind Krishna, as by seeing her endeavor, he finally showed her mercy. So this is what the exhaustion, the failures, and then finally the success. So she's saying that through destiny. So we also think when Krishna and Dhritarashtra also that when you are telling what Krishna you are telling is right, what Vidura Maharaj you are telling is right, what Vyasa you are telling, but I can do it. When Krishna desires, I will do it. No, that is a so if you are dependent on the destiny, then because you have your own free will, your choice, you can make your own choice. How within the limitation you have, you can try your best to do the spiritual with spiritual consciousness rather than the material absorption by the mercy of especially so many ways Lord Krishna arranged, but still Dhritarashtra couldn't take it because all the pious credits were lost. So that's why the destiny is not going to help, especially one who is not spiritually inclined. Destiny will not change. But for those who are spiritually inclined, especially trying to come to the path of Krishna consciousness, Krishna is making the changes in their destiny, whatever is written, the lines will be transformed, as Prabhupada said. As you dance in front of the Lord, the lines which are written on the hands will change. Karmani nirdahat kinchita bhakti bhajam govindam adipurusham tamam bhajam. So where the destiny, the criticism, so you will be criticized. They all gopis are starting. You are not able to bind Krishna. Why are you binding? So leave him, leave him. So he is being embarrassed in front of all friends and everything. You are trying to bind, but Yashodama is fully determined, with full determination. She, no matter what, today I have to bind Krishna. That's it. There is no question of leaving him today, no matter what. This was the great determination he had. So this is what Acharya is teaching us lesson that we'll have to go through the exhaustion, we have to go through the footsteps of previous acharyas, then we have to go through the failures, and then finally we'll be able to attain the success. So by through this following this process with great determination, with Dhrada Vrata, so Vyavasayatmaka Buddhi. So in this way, these are the some of the key instructions. Now, so this is what Tattva must be understood. So that's why first Satyavrata Muni through Damodar Ashtam, first he is speaking Tattva Visesh. First verse is speaking Tattva Visesh, then he's talking about Rupa Visesh, and he's talking about Saundarya Visesh, then he's talking about Lila Visesh, then he's talking about Paravara Visesh, then in the third verse is talking about second verse is talking about Guna Vishesh. And then the third verse is talking about Leela Vishesh. And then the fourth and fifth and sixth is talking about prayers, praying to the Lord, prayers, offering prayers with full love and affection. So that, and then seventh verse is talking about Prema Visesh, Bhakta Vatsalya Visesh, and a little bit of Aishwarya Visesh. So in this way, through these 8 verses, Lord Damodar Ashtam is teaching. Satyavrata Muni, as per Sanatana Goswami, one of the Acharya, is instructing us through so many instructions is giving. So let's go through one by one. I just give a quick essence of these 8 verses, but we'll go through one by one now. So through this 1 minute. Yeah, first one. So Namami Iswaram Sachidanand. So the Namami, where Sanatana Goswami is explaining that. So in the beginning of this verse, first of all, bowing down is offering, is specifying, is establishing the Iswara Tattva, the Supreme Lord's Iswara, Namam Iswaram. So the Namam offering obeisances. Obeisances are thus offered with love and devotion before commencing the description of the Lord's um, specific opulences and excellence are exhibited by his tattva, rupa, leela, and guna, mentioned in the essence of his own divine supremacy as the supreme personality of Godhead of Gokula. So, Gokula, in another day we will see from the Gopal Champu, the description of Golok Vrindavan, especially different abodes, different petals of the lotus, Sahasra Patra Kamalam, Gokulakyam, Mahatpadam, Tat Karnikalam, Tat Dham, Anantam Sambhavam, and Brahma Samhita, 1,000 petal lotus. The Golok Vrindavan resemble like 1,000 petal lotus. The center petal is where Radha and Krishna resides, and then each petal, there are different abodes. This has been described in different books in Gopal Champu also. Now, Sanatana Goswami is describing about this first verse, Namamishwaram. So, where is establishing the first Sarva Shaktimanta, his potency, endowed with all the potency, as Parasya Shakti I mentioned many times. All the energies are so full of knowledge, full of strength, full of opulence, full of fame, full of renunciation, full of knowledge, all the six opulence full. That is what Sarva Shaktimanta. So through this Namami Swaram, who is sensing. Jagat Ekanada, only the Lord of the universe. He is the only master. Everybody else is servant. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all others are servant. Ekala Iswara Ara Sabya Bhutya, including Lord Shiva and all other demigods, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, so like that. And then further he is describing through this now Rupa Visesh, Namamishwaram, Sachidananda Rupam, that through Sachidananda Rupam, how Lord is full of eternality, full of bliss, and full of Ananda, Sachidananda Rupam, full of knowledge, full of eternality, but always the same. For us, originally our consciousness, we are Sachidananda Rupa as well, as minute, but we are being conditioned. But Lord is never conditioned. So he is establishing the actual tattva of the Supreme Lord. So he is not Brahman, he is not Parabrahman, but he is Supreme Brahman. He is the personal form of the Lord. Through this Damodar Lila is showing by that how Lord should be Lord service should be done with love and affection in a personal way, and it should be paying attention to the details. Now he is describing about the Lila Visesh, Rupa Visesh. Namavishwaram Sachidananda Rupam. Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. So where Lasanti means the swinging of the his earrings is explained, was manifested when he ran away in fear of Yashoda. His earrings poured upon his cheeks as a result of his continuously playing on the transcendental form, pastimes of his childhood. Thus, his divinely splendorous face is especially portrayed. Then, at another meaning of Lasat Kundalam is also due to the Maha Sobhagya, or of great fortune, personally kissing his divine cheeks. These earrings have attained a position of super excellence above all his other ornaments. And this super excellence also indicates the fortune of other ornaments adorning his various limbs. So, Lord, whenever the Lord is wearing, it is actually even getting more beautiful. The ornaments are getting more, more appearance, more looking more even better. So it is not a Lord being beautified, but rather ornaments are being also being glorified, getting the more value for it. So then further, so therefore Krishna's body is the ornament of his ornaments. So this is the basically the meaning. By seeing this beauty, that's why Rupa. So that's why when if you want to understand the tattva, when we are chanting, initially the holy name will reveal. The holy name is Nama Tattva. Gradually it will reveal Rupa, Lila, and Guna. Rupa means form of the Lord. We are not able to see the Lord when we are chanting. But gradually, when we come to that perfection stage, so I mentioned exhaustion, when Yasodamai, the pure devotee of the Lord, showing whole day, 12 hours or 10 hours or 8 hours, she tried to bind Krishna, exhaustion and failures, and then finally success. Same way, so the devotee sadhaka has to practice 30, 40, 50 years. Oh, I practiced 10 years, I chanted, nothing has happened, not much transformation, I was not able to see Krishna. So we cannot lose the patience, we cannot lose the determination. We'll see the results, but we may not see Krishna so quickly unless we are very, very serious, like Bilamangal Thakur. Like Dhruva Maharaj, within 6 months he was able to see Krishna. So it depends on the seriousness. But we shouldn't lose the hope. We should have full determination. Yasodhama is showing through this example. So that's why Nama, through the chanting of the holy name, then gradually the Rupa will be revealed, the form of the Lord, then the Lila, quality, the pastimes of the Lord. And then the gunas, qualities of the Lord will be revealed. All these four things, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila will be revealed. So through this Damodar Ashtakam, yes, Anatana Goswami is explaining this. Now through this first verse, Namameswaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajaman. Yashoda, now the other aspect that has been mentioned is Parivar Visesh. So, Sri Krishna, by seeing your beauty, which attracts the three worlds, these cows, birds, trees, deer are all experiencing their hair standing on end. Everybody is trying to serve Krishna. So, even those seemingly they're not fully conscious, their consciousness is covered, as described in the last class. There are 5 kinds of consciousness. Uh, what is it? Forget the Sanskrit names. One is covered consciousness, that is trees, and then the second one is the shrunken consciousness, the birds, animals, and then the human beings as Mukulita consciousness is budding consciousness, then blossoming consciousness, Vikasita, then Purna Vikasita, that is fully blossoming, that is a Purna Suddho Nitya Mukta, that is a fully liberated stage. This is a Krishna Prema stage, highest stage. So that's why here it has been explained the Krishna's beauty, and then now Parivar Visesh has been explained the attributes of his family's excellence. Gokule Brajaman. That Gokule indicates the place where Gopas, Gopis, cows, the calves, all forth reside. The word Brajamanam indicates particularly befitting place wherein he can manifest an excellence that surpasses that of previous Leelas. Moreover, he is splendorous because only in Gokula does he manifest his Swabhavika Sobha. So this, the specific pastimes, whether it's lifting Govardhan, Yasodamai binding Krishna, this is a very, very special pastimes. Even Devaki and Vasudev didn't have chance to be part of these pastimes. So that's why these are very, very special pastimes. These leelas are not happening in any other, not Madura, not Dwaraka, but only in Gokula. Golok is in the spiritual world, unmanifested, we are not able to see. Aprakat Leela and Prakat Leela here, these pastimes, Gokul is in here in Bhauma Vrindavan. That is Golok Vrindavan, spiritual world. In the material world, when Lord appears, along with him, all the associates appear. Nanda and Yashoda are not like ordinary souls. There are Nitya Siddhas and Krupa Siddhas. Sadhana Siddhas and Krupa. Sadhana Siddhas means practitioners. We are practicing devotion service. And Krupa Siddhas means mercy. Through by our sadhana also we can attain, but it's very, very difficult. Through that is the Krupa Siddhi. That's why we need to have a guru, and by guru and his devotees mercy we can attain Krishna. The Krupa Siddhi is a much more easier path in the bhakti process. And then the Nitya Siddhas are eternally liberated. They never become conditioned. So one of them is Nanda and Yashoda, who were before Drona and Dara. Drona and Dara. Dara. They were the names. But they are eternally father and mother of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna. They are the eternally father and mothers. They don't need to perform any penances. That is sadhana siddhas has to perform austerities and so many things. But for them, they are eternally liberated. When our Lord appears, before Lord appears, they also appear. So in this way, Nanda and Yashoda being asked to appear. So when demigods prayed in the 7th chapter, we see the prayers of demigods for Lord Krishna to appear, seemingly to kill Kamsa. But that is not the main. So especially all these pastimes, especially the Yashodamai binding Krishna and lifting Govardhan, the special pastimes, Kali, Daman Leela, and many other pastimes in Vrindavan, especially Gokul Vrindavan. specifically to attract us in this Nama Rupa Guna Leela. So now Leela Vishesh, Parivar Vishesh is been explained. Now Leela Vishesh, Gokule Brajaman. So there is experience, the excellence of Leela Vishesh or attributes or pastimes are stated in this last two lines of this verse. The word Yashoda indicates Yashodaya or from his mother Yashoda. Biya indicates the fear of being punished for his offense. We are also making offenses. So these contradictions are also there. Breaking the yogurt pot, stealing the fresh butter, and so forth. And Ulu Kalar denotes the from the mortar. So that's why you'll see that Lord. So after all this pastime, also is that. So I have done now. She bound me. Then I should do more mischievous than this. Then he, even when he was bound, he pulled with his all energy. He pulled the huge, gigantic trees, Yamalarjuna trees, who are Nalakuvera and Manigriva, to become more mischievous, even to more bewilder the conditioned souls, to attract the devotees, to bewilder those who are Mayavad, who are atheistic, who are against, to bewilder them. But devotees get attracted by these pastimes. So, Leela Visesh, so, and by a fear, anger, fear, all these are contradictions we see here. In order to steal the fresh butter suspended from the rafters, he took a large wooden grinding mortar that was kept in the same storeroom. So turned it on an end and climbed upon it, and immediately get down again. Davamanam means he speedily run away. This regard, if one desired to know, yeah. Then Sri Krishna turned grinding mortar on end and climbed up on it and began distributing the fresh butter hanging from rafters to the monkeys as he freely as he liked. So due to his knowledge of his own mischievous thievery, his eyes fearfully darted this way and that way. Mother Yashoda saw him doing this and slowly crept up from behind to catch him. But he noticed her coming with a stick in her hand, quickly got down from the mortar and started running away. Even though highly advanced yogis, nobody can catch him. But we see through this pastime, he could be controlled because Lord wants to be controlled only by his pure devotees. That's why he cannot be understood by logic. Atapi te deva padam bhujadvayam janapi tattvam bhagavan mahimno chiran vichanvan nachanyo chiran vichanvan. So only by the mercy of the Lord, the dust of the lotus feet of his pure devotees, we can understand this. Now, Yashodaviyo loka ladham paramrustam atyanto Toto Drutya. She ran very swiftly. Yashoda Devi was chasing. Due to the samasa conjunction, these two words become one. Gopya by Sri Yashoda, Paramrustam, catching hold of his back. Here the words Atyanta Tato Drutya, running behind, imply the Saundarya Visesh, excellence of beauty of Yashoda Mai, heavy personality, and running to catch Krishna. So flowers, Malika or Malati flowers falling from her hair loosened. So the beauty, her beauty is being magnified. Saundarya Visesh is being glorified. And then Paramrustam means Sneha Visesh. By the word Paramrustam, the unique attribute of super excellent affection that Bhagavan Sri Krishna feels for Yashoda Mai, Sneha Visesh is intimated. And that's why you can see this, through this first verse, we see that from Tattva Visesh, then started Rupa Visesh, then you see the Parivar Visesh. So that's why wherever Krishna always want to be bound and controlled by his love and affection of his pure devotees. The Yasodamai, the Gopis, the Gopal. So that's why Parivar Visesh, Gokule means all of them. They're all there watching. Through this pastime, when Yasodamai is trying to run and bind, they're all watching. But if we are, then we will be very much embarrassed if somebody is trying to bind and all our friends and everybody is watching. Imagine, nobody stopping her from doing it. And you can imagine we get so much angry, and he is also exhibiting that anger and everything. But he allowed. This is Krishna's inconceivable. That's why this pastime is very inconceivable. So, with so much patience and determination, Yasodama is bound, and Krishna generally doesn't allow so easily. So that's why Krishna doesn't, by simply chanting for few days without much that, unless full surrender, one time chanting, you can attain Krishna. But we are not at that level. There are so many other things going on in the mind and intelligence and senses for many lifetimes. It's very, very difficult to communicate with Krishna, to see Krishna, to visualize the pastimes of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada was able to see the pastimes. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur was able to see the pastimes. He was talking about one day looking at the moon. So, what's going on the moon planet? How people are suffering, what they are doing. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur was describing. So, this is the pure devotee of the Lord who could see all this. We cannot see. That's why when he was describing, glorifying the details of the spiritual world, Srila Prabhupada himself is humbly submitting in the beginning. I couldn't understand what he's speaking, but I still went on listening, even though whether I understood or not understood, with sincerity. So that's why, because pure devotees can see the Lord's pastimes in other planets, what's happening in the spiritual world, because as Paramatma is there, even pure devotees' heart. So Lord will reveal more to the pure devotees. He will not reveal to the yogis and demigods, but he will reveal more to the pure devotees. Especially there are various the grades are there, even the pure devotee, various grades, like Uddhava. So you see that throughout the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, you will see the grades of devotees, all the way starting from the king, and then they go to the Lord Shiva, then Hanuman, Prahlad Maharaj, so Pandavas, goes on and on. Then Uddhava, and finally Gopis. The highest is the topmost is Gopis. So that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing that the topmost love is from the gopis, and that's why in the verse of Kunti Maharani's prayers, Yasodama is also called Gopi. Gopi adade krutagasi damatavad that kalilanjana sambramaksham vaktram niniya bhavavana istatasya. As Kunti Maharani is thinking, I cannot take the position of Yasodamai. I cannot take. Even though she is aunt of Krishna, she could take. But she cannot take because she is at a different level than Yasodamai. Even Devaki Vasudeva cannot take her position. So that is a level of intensity, the love and affection, so much strong, so much intense. So that's why here these are described. Nama, Rupa, Saundarya, Parivar, Visesh, all these are described in the first verse. In the second verse, Rudantam Muhurnetra Yugmam Brajantam Karam Bhoja Yugmena Satankanetra Muhuswasakampatrirekankankanta Sthita Graivam Damodaram Bhaktipadam. Through this second verse, Lila Visesh is explained. When Mata Yashoda saw that this mischievous child then cried and cried, is rubbing, Rudantam rubbing his eyes and his hand, thereby smearing the dark eye lining cosmetics from them. Krishna saw the stick in her hands, and his eyes became overwhelmed with fright. In this condition, Yashoda seized his hand and proceeded to chastise him in order to instill fear in him. So the Rudhantam, seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand and apprehending being stuck with it, he behaved as if terrified because he was thinking, oh, I can go away. That's why the Krishna is also thinking, oh, I will not stay. Nobody likes me. There is no love. You don't have love. Why should I stay here? I don't want to stay in this place anymore because you don't want to feed me. You have no love. You are angry with me. You are trying to beat me. So this is all Krishna is expressing through his emotions, through his facial expressions. He is showing all these as are explaining. We'll cover there are so much details on this Yasodama binding Krishna's pastime. Already 758. We'll quickly go through this. Second verse, where Lila Visesh is explained. Karamboja Yugmena Satanka Netram. He rubbed both eyes again and again with both of his two lotus like hands at the same time. This is a natural characteristic of Balya Lila because Lord is at around 3 years old at this time. or else Karamboju Igmena Satanka Netram, Karamboju Igmena Netram, Igmam Prajantam may also indicate that by the influence of his pride, many tears were actually forming in his eyes. Even though he was mocking, he was showing not to be, but actually real tears. Therefore, he rubbed them again and again in order to make the tears fall out. Or furthermore, he rubbed his eyes again and again in order to wipe away the tears that were falling again and again. This is yet another meaning. Now, Satanka Netram, dreading his mother's punishment, his eyes express how much he was terrified in his mind, or else it refers to his glancing in this way and that way in extreme fear. In this regard, he also tried to avoid being punished. Thus, another confidential pastime is disclosed. Muhuswasa Kampatrireka, moreover, Muhuswasa means due to his crying and sobbing again and again, trembling, trembling, three rekang marked with three lions, just like a conch shell. Contestitagram, all his neck ornaments like pearl necklaces. He who appears in this way, Damodar, whose belly is tied with rope. So in this way, Lord is being glorified in this Lila Visesh. This is a very beautiful pastime. In this way, Satyavrata Muni is glorifying in the second verse. Now the third verse, we'll quickly cover. Iti draksvalila virananda kunde swagosham nimajjantam akyapayantam तदीयेसितग्नेषु भक्तैर्जितत्वं पुनः प्रेमतस्तं सता vritti vande. The third verse. Now the excellence of his guna, his qualities. Lila means his pastimes. Now guna means qualities of the Lord, attributes of his qualities are being described. In this word, beginning with the word iti, it depicts the reason for his coming under the sway of his devotees. Furthermore, iti means by this Damodar Lila, it also connotes iti dhrubischa, by all Sri Krishna supremely enchanting childhood pastime like Damodar Lila. That's why Sodamai, the first verse, Yani Yani Hakitan Tad Bhala Chalitani Cha. You see, Sukadev Goswami is glorifying, where Yasodamai is singing. What is that? There is a verse. There's a beautiful verse by Bellamangal Thakur. Almost 50 plus, 50 plus verses are there. Sri Krishna Madhava, I forget, I'm forgetting that. Damodareti. She's singing that. She's singing this pastimes of the Lord, Potana killing, Trinavrata, all these as a songs she was singing from as she is working. She's churning the butter. Whatever she's doing, she's always thinking of Krishna. Always. So that's why here this is mentioned here. By all Damodar Leela, the word Swasya, Swasya indicates his own uncommonly divine pastimes. Leelavi, by all his sportive pastimes, he drowns all the living entities of Gokula in ecstasy. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. If you dance, then we will give you a sweet by these words, or by clapping their hand. The elder gopis sometimes induce Krishna to dance. Thus, Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, uh, dance just like ordinary child. 1 minute, hold on. I'm in the class. Yes. Yeah, open. Take the flowers. The word. Sorry about that. So we dance. Yeah. We're discussing the Lila Guna Visesh from this verse number 3 of Damodar. Dance like a supreme personality of God, dance like a ordinary child. So sometimes they made him sing, and he therefore sang just like a bewildered, innocent boy. In this way, he came under the control of the cohort boys, cohort women, exactly like a wooden puppet on strings. Sometimes his relatives would order him to bring their shoes, as Nanda Maharaj many times asked. Then Lord Krishna used to bring shoes, putting on his head. So that's why if you are on the altar, if you are a pujari, you should be able to, you should touch and put them on the head. It's a great mercy that we are getting opportunity to touch the lotus feet of the Lord, putting the Lord's shoes, even the Gurus, pure devotee of the Lord, even Prabhupada, we should touch We should take the dust. This is a custom. This is a culture. This is coming from the Shastra. That's why Shastra, Sadhu, and Guru. Without their mercy, we can't. That's why Shasana means we must be controlled by Shastra. The rules and whatever we do, everything must be corroborated by Shastra. So that's why Tattva Vishes, first and foremost, our Satyavrata Muni is explaining, glorifying, is Tattva Vishes, establishing Tattva here in this throughout Damodar Lila. Because if you don't understand Tattva, if you don't understand the Siddhanta of Krishna consciousness, then it becomes very difficult. That's why that emphasis is being made in all the books. If you directly jump to Bhagavad Gita without reading introduction, then you don't understand properly. So, so that each and every book we should read the introduction. Even Srimad Bhagavatam, you will see the introduction. So many pages Prabhupada written. So then you understand the what consonant we should with what consonant we should read these books. Chaitanya Charitamrita also always introduction. From beginning we should read these books. You cannot directly jump to other chapters or the middle of the chapter, middle of the book. No, then you will not be able to understand. So that's why everything has to go systematically, sequentially, everything must be understood in that way. So on the basis of these conclusions, this Srimad Bhagavatam is giving these various quoting in this way. Third verse is describing the Lila Visesh. The fourth verse. Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va na chanyam vraneham vare sadapiha idam teva purnada gopala balam sada me manasa avirastam kimanye. So, although you are capable of granting me in any boon, I do not pray for your liberation, to you for liberation, or nor for eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor for any other benediction. Hey Natha, O Lord, may your form as a cohort child forever remain manifest in my heart. Other than this, I have no need of anything. So, from verse number 4 all the way, verse number 5, he is offering prayers. The Satyavrata Muni is offering prayers to get only his service. No need of anything. I don't want Golokunda, I don't want liberation, I don't want anything. Only of your mercy and your service. That's what he is sincerely praying. Varam. Varam means blessings. I want mercy. So word Deva means, O supremely effulgent one, O Lord, engaged in super excellent sweet sports. Yeah, here in Vrindavan. In this way, they're asking. So, not for any other benediction, but simply pure love. That's all they're asking. So, this fourth and also the fifth verse, where idam te mukam bojam atyanta nilair vratam kuntalay snigdha raktaischa gopya mohochumbitam bimba raktadaram me manasa virastam malam lakshalabhay. O Lord, your lotus-like face is completely surrounded by very dark blue, glossy, reddish, tinged, curling hair and is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda. Your lotus face is endowed with lips red, a bimba fruit. May it always remain visible in my heart. The attainment of millions of other boons is completely useless to me. So, yeah, again, this is the longing to see your Sri Mukha, is your divine lotus face. That is Param Manohara. Is stated in this verse, beginning with Idamte. So sometimes while one is meditating deeply within and perceives such indescribable beauty and splendor, that is what is revealed in this verse. His face is Prafulla Kamalakara. It resembles the fully blossomed lotus flower. So in this way, so they are expressing, so they are offering prayers to the Lord to seek the mercy, to seek the service of the Lord. The sixth verse also continuation. Then seventh verse changes. Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukka Jalabdi Magnam Krupa Drishti Vritsyati Dinam Vatanu Gruhanesya Mam Ajnam Adi Akshidrusya. Obeisances to you, O Deva, O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu. O Prabhu, be pleased upon me. I am sinking deeply into the ocean of tribulations. Shower the rain of your merciful glance upon me. I am so pitifully fallen. Alas, kindly exhibit your favor and deliver me. Alas, O Isha, O Supreme Lord, I am totally ignorant. Please become visible to my eyes. Now, by the potency of prayer, feelings of spontaneous love arise. And one especially craves to have direct vision of the Lord. So, in the fourth, fifth, he explains. he offered in so much sincere surrender and love. So in this fourth, fifth, and sixth verse, he wants to see the Lord now. He is very desperate. So much desperation is there. This is with a strong attachment and love. Only Sri Nama, Nama Sankirtan is the Parama Sadhana, the supreme method for this attainment. Golokera Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. Rotina Janmila Kenatai. So there is Narottam Das. Today is Narottam Das Thakur Stirobhav. Sometimes they say Sunday also. Great Acharya in the line of the Brahma Madhva Gaudi Sampradaya. So in this way, we can see through this fourth, fifth, sixth, the prayers of the Lord. Now, Param Vatsalya Vishesh is being explained also. Now the seventh verse is Prema Vishesh, seventh and eighth. Prema Vishesh, Bhakta Vatsalya Vishesh is being explained. Kuberatmajo Baddha Mrute Vayatva Tvaya Musito Bhakti Bhajo Krutaucha Tata Prema Bhakti Swakam Me Prayacha Namokshe Graho Me Sti Damodariha. O Damodara, although you are bound to the mortar with ropes tied by Mother Yashoda, you mercifully liberated the sons of Kuvera. As I just explained, that there was a tree. He was already being bound. He is not released himself. But with that also, Lord wants to do even more mischief. Lord wants to deliver. Lord wants to show compassion, mercy. So to Yamalarjuna, Malakuvera and Manigriva, who performed sinful activities. When Nardamuni is walking, they didn't even cover their bodies. They really the activity they were doing. But Narada Muni, that mercy of the sadhu is like that. They are so compassionate. Even though they curse, but they will be able to be delivered by directly seeing Krishna. They appeared in the courtyard of Nanda and Yashoda. And they are able to be released. Directly they are able to see Krishna. You can imagine the mercy. What mercy. Even the demigod, the sages, the yogis cannot see. So, but here, the mercy of Narada Muni. So they are able to see. In this way, the attributes of pure ecstatic love, prema visesh, one becomes infused with supreme longing and praise for direct audience with Lord, Sakshat, Darshan. From attributes of the prayerful longing arises ecstatic loving service, prema bhakti, which demonstrates the supreme rarity of Sakshat Darshan. This prema bhakti is verily the only means for attaining his darshan. First establishing this as a fact, as prayer is then offered to him. So through the gradually through this, that's why every day before sleeping when we wake up, we should offer prayers to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Prabhupada, our acharyas, our guru. By their mercy, then gradually our unwanted consciousness, the material absorption, the lower modes gradually be alleviated, and we will be able to transform all the obstacles, all the roadblocks, all the exhaustion will go away. Naturally, the bhakti, the love, the ecstatic transformation, the mellows, bliss will start appearing, will transforming each and every senses and mind and intelligence will come to that highest consciousness of Krishna prema through this process by following strictly in these footsteps of Nanda and Yashoda. So the words Baddha Murta indicate Sri Vigraha. So Sri Vigraha was bound with ropes and tied to the grinding mortar by Sri Yashoda, and by that Sri Vigraha he liberated the two sons of Krishna. Thus, by his dragging the mortar between the two trees known as Yamalarjuna, Bhagavan personally demonstrates that the supreme fortune that comes in the forms of Sakshat Darshana, seeing his form, personally touching his form, so forth, which are integral attributes of his supremely beautiful pastimes. In this way, we can understand then the last verse because of the time already. So many details are there. I'm not able to cover. Namaste stu dhamne pradipti dhamne tvadiyodharayata viswasya dhamne namo radhikaye tvadiya priyaye namo nanta lilaya devaya tubhyam. Because this is prema is the highest level. Especially here, Radha Krishna, Srimad Radharani's name is mentioned. You see that. Oh Lord Damodar, I offer my obeisance unto the exalted rope binding your waist, which is the source of splendorously brilliant effulgence. I offer my obeisance unto your belly, which is the support of the entire universe. as the Lord says, Gam avishya bhutan darayam aham vachasa. Everything is floating. The sun, huge. Sun is not a small tennis ball. It's so gigantic, but it is floating. Imagine, imagine the universe, the whole universe, 14 planetary systems is floating in the air. Who can do that? Nobody. We have a hard time floating a 770 Boeing aeroplane. So many mechanical failure, this failure, that failure, small problems, so we can handle it. Imagine the whole universe floating just by his glance, by his energies, not even directly. So we have to understand the power of the Supreme Lord. We haven't seen much. So, so that's why we have to understand everything by Sadhu and Shastra and Guru, especially here, the highest level, Srimad Radharani, who is the source of splendorously brilliant effulgence. I offer my obeisance to your obeisance to Radhika, your dear most beloved. I offer my obeisance to your wondrous, uncommon pastimes. Now, at the conclusion of prayers, in order to summarize the presentation of topics that are being prayed for, also to arouse the attributes of bhakti, the obeisances are given separately unto Bhagavan's unique binding. Bodily limbs, associate, so on. In the words beginning with Namastestu, it is stated, Dhamne Namostu. I bow to the Mahapad, the magnificent rope that binds you, the belly. What is a grand rope like? It is Spurantam Deepti Dhamne, the source or shelter of splendorous apple. In this regard, and this way, so after that, Tvadiya Udara Namoste. I bow to your belly. The reason for this, because while bound with robes, you especially manifest the beauty and other qualities of your belly, as well as the glorious characteristics of Vatsalya Lila and other pastimes. So, in this way, we can see that the most magnificent pastimes of is Aishwarya Lila. So, and then is Madhurya Leela, mentioning Srimati Radharani, and Tvadiya is the most dear, most Prema Visesh. So that's what ultimate conclusion is, coming to the highest rasa, Prema Ras as well Madhurya Ras. So from we can see from one level, starting with understanding the Tattva, understanding through the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, all the way to attain Krishna Prema. Prema from Nama, Rupa, Guna, and Leela, and then attaining Krishna Prema. So we will be able to see all of them with continuously, constantly when we come to that highest level. Through this Damodar Ashtakam, we can understand these pastimes, understand that there is a lot of lot of scope in the devotion service. It is only the matter of endeavoring and executing devotion service without losing the patience, without losing the determination, despite failure, despite criticism, despite exhaustions. So all this, so many things can happen. The results will be extraordinary. The transformation results. दामोदराष्टकानां नाम स्तोत्रम दामोदरार्चनम नित्यम दामोदर आकर्षण पते सत्यव्रता उदोदितम. One should recite regularly the hymn sung by Satyavrata Muni called Damodarashtakam, because this worship attracts Sri Damodara. Haribhakta Vilas 16.195 to 198. Why should we read Damodarashtakam? By simply offering a ghee lamp throughout this month, day after day, so many sinful activities will be attracted so by to Krishna. So that's why we are in the present house, we are being bound with ropes. So by simply offering, we need mercy. So how to get easy, quick mercy is to by simply offering this ghee lamp. So that's why we should take opportunity without missing every day. It takes only few minutes. Try to offer this lamp and sing Damodar Ashtakam. It is there in KK songs or so many websites. Search for Damodar Ashtakam. You will get this. I posted also before in the group. You can play on YouTube if you cannot read, and while doing that, offering ghee lamp, so that, and then read translation so that we can understand what we have gone through these verses. So I'll stop here. Any quick questions anyone has? Let me unmute. Okay. Gamraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shukopad ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. So all these are from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 9th chapter. So this pastime what we described is actually from Srimad Bhagavatam. But Damodar Ashtakam is also describing in condensed way. Satyavrata Muni compiled this pastime into these 8 verses glorifying. Please go ahead. Anyone has any questions, comments, reflections, anything? If not, we'll conclude. You can unmute yourself. It's already. Hey Krishna, no one has any questions? Everybody must be busy. Okay, I'll conclude today's session. Kandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shukopad ki jai, Shri Radha Damodar.